The Reserve Bank of India is having a massive problem. Massive problem. And that problem is no one's using their garbage central bank digital currency, the e-rupee. And I'm not biased in any way, shape, or fashion. See, I speak truth. I speak facts. And freedom is good. Slavery is bad. I think we can all agree with that. And when you choose to use a central bank digital currency and you let that fester inside your country, you are choosing enslavement. But if you use Bitcoin, for instance, you are choosing freedom, a permissionless, open protocol that anyone in the world can use. Anyone. Completely open, around the middlemen of banks, central banks, of grifters or rent seekers. No need. There's no need at all. Anyone with an internet connection, anywhere, or a connection to a mesh network, a ham radio, a satellite, can use the Bitcoin network. Now, that's not the case with central bank digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies give governments the ability to censor you, to seize your wealth, to shut you off at a moment's notice. So the Reserve Bank of India wonders why no one's using their e-rupee. Well, they might need to listen to the first minute or two of this video to see why. They're at 18,000 transactions a day, which is more than I actually thought there would be. But 18,000, when their goal is 1 million a day. So 18,000 a day, and their goal is 1 million a day by the end of 2023. So just in the next few months. And again, we talk a lot about government statistics here. There's lies, damn lies, and there's statistics, as I believe Mark Twain said. Well, we know that there's absolutely no way it's actually 18,000. So I guess I stand corrected. I believe there wasn't as many, but there probably isn't, because I'm sure they're lying about it. So they're trying to think of ways to incentivize, working with lenders to incentivize ways for people to come into their enslavement system, which is hilarious in and of itself. But just like Nigeria with their e-naira, people like freedom. When given the chance, when given the opportunity, most human beings like freedom. They don't like when their governments can just black them right out of the system, just cut them off, seize their coin, just like we saw in the Canadian trucker protest when people's cash, their government currencies, fiat currencies, were frozen out of the system, and they weren't allowed to. They were just cut off completely from being a human. The Dutch, the farmer protests, trying to do the same type of thing, right? What was the only thing that was giving people freedom? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only thing. You think a government-run CBDC on their platform is going to be great, and they're just going to let you do whatever you want? Do you think they're going to let you protest peacefully? Of course not. We're seeing what's happening right now. You're getting put in the slammer for just protesting at all. Peacefully protesting doesn't even matter. You're getting put in prison for decades here in America. So just imagine what's happening around the rest of the country. The Bill of Rights is under attack. The Bill of Rights is what gives us our freedom and restricts government from really outright control in communism, Fabianism, socialism here in America. And it's only as good as people are standing up and enforcing those laws and those rights, those self-evident rights. Government works with the consent of the governed. And it's time for people to stand and voice their concerns, voice their opinions, voice who they are and what they're feeling. The silent minority and the silent majority have been silent for too long. 9 out of 10 people I've contended for 10 years want freedom. 9 out of 10. Right about that. And I've had anecdotal evidence numerous times, we've talked about it here, over the years that have proved that very point. And there's a reason that the CBDCs, they will continue to try to incentivize bigger and bigger incentives to get people into their enslavement system. But the beauty is we are the government. The people are the government. People tell me all the time, really patriotic, freedom-loving people. Well, Brandon, people are going to shut down Bitcoin. Number one, you can't shut down Bitcoin. It's just free speech. It's just code. It's just numbers in a computer. So you can't shut it down, number one. It's a protocol. Can't shut it down. Computer-wise, physically, you can't shut it down. Now, can you dissuade people? Can you tax them? Can you threaten them? Things like that. Yes, you can. And that might be one of the most important parts about money and just life in general, right? Perception, the stories we tell ourselves, and psychology. That is money. That is life. But what I always say to people is, well, we are the government, aren't we? Especially here in the West. We have the ability here in America to vote. If you're telling me that you want something, a better money for yourself, the most beautiful money we've ever seen, actual money, a real money for the first time ever in human history, and all the benefits we accrue as the 99% of people because we use this perfect money. And most people agree that, yeah, that'd be great. I do want that. And then they still say, well, government, and it's like, we are the government. We can change it here. We can vote. We can change that. And then everyone starts to, oh, well, you know, some people still say, well, the government still can do this. So you're telling me that you don't actually have a vote. You're telling me your vote doesn't matter. Is that what you're telling me? And that's where you eventually get everybody. They start to understand, well, okay. And then you still have some people who are like, well, yeah, my vote doesn't matter. And that's a different story for a different day. We won't go down that road here and now. But that's where we need to start understanding that people all around the world, people, as Alice Gladstein wrote, there's a privilege here. There's a financial privilege that Westerners have, especially Americans. And most people around the world, El Salvador, in Nigeria, in India, many places around the world, they're not used to some privilege, some financial privilege of banking ease and all these different things. They understand there's almost no adoption in Nigeria of their e-naira. As I was starting to say earlier, I don't think I did, there's almost none. The statistics are just like this, basically. And they understand the impacts of inflation and the government destroying their currency through inflation and printing more and more and more of it and stealing their wealth and the censorship. So most countries around the world aren't going to accept CBDCs. They are going to reject them. They are going to repel from that. That's what you see what's happening in Argentina with Milei, because of what they have gone through, what they've lived through. Just because here in America we have not dealt with these things before, we're having a hard time understanding this, and we tend to kind of just go into government with, you know, open arms because we've had 250 years of real oppression. We're away from the oppression we had 250 years ago so much that we're 10, 20, 40 generations down the line. So we don't understand what's happening. Not enough people here understand what's actually possible, what governments are actually possible, or what's possible and what they can do to you. So we are in a time that try men's souls, as Thomas Paine wrote. So we need to be aware. We need to keep our head on a swivel, as we say in hockey. You need to keep your head up so you don't get hammered by someone looking to headhunt you. And that's the world we're living in today. Do you want your wealth? Do you want your freedom? Do you want your kids to live in a world of freedom with sound money? Or do you want your kids to live in a world of bondage with a massive growing bond market, debt, and government-controlled currencies that they can shut off? The choice is up to us. The choice is up to us. I appreciate you more than you know. Please share this out because the algorithm hates truth. Trust but verify. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. And this is not financial advice. This is freedom advice. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.